I wrote lyrics for my intro music, but I can't sing them because they are too sexual. But maybe someday. Maybe I'll do it for the last episode of the podcast, my retirement episode. I'll sing it. And then ride off into the sunset, being chased by the FCC with my bags of cash that I made from my podcasting. Welcome. It's currently Friday. It is the Friday after the Thursday of Thanksgiving. And I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. But there's a chance that it was a pretty sad Thanksgiving because this is the time where you normally see your extended family members and you would touch them because that's what you do during the holidays. You visit extended family members and you touch them. And we can't do that right now. You can, but you shouldn't. So that's very sad. And though it's sad, I suppose we have to just keep trucking. You know, we have to be truckers. We're truckers. We're always truckers. And hopefully most of the time the road is dry. And you have great traction with your tires and you're cruising along. But then you hit an ice patch. And you can't just pull over to the side of the road for the rest of your life. Although it seems like some people do make that choice. You have to learn how to drive on the ice. And you have to become an ice road trucker. And ice road truckers are badass. And sometimes you get to be on that show, Ice Road Truckers. And then you're on the TV. And then all of your family sees you on the TV. And they're so proud of you. And they get behind you. And then... but then you have to eventually not be on the TV show anymore. And then everybody forgets about you, and then you die. So, having said that, this is Grandma's favorite podcast, episode number 8. I am Taylor John Williams. And for some odd reason, we're charting. This podcast is charting in Colombia. Isn't that odd? And nowhere else, to my knowledge, just in Colombia. So they know something that the rest of the world doesn't know. And I appreciate it. To my Colombian audience, I appreciate it. And all of Hollywood appreciates it, appreciates you collectively, because you have supplied them with things like White Rocks and Sofia Vergara. So that's great. Good news. All good news. This is a good news podcast. I decided. And I'm doing fine. Except this is bad news. Because I was snubbed at the Grammys once again. That make that 29 straight years of my life snubbed at the Grammys. And I don't want to get all political here, but where's the Court of Vietnamese representation? Why are the Grammys so non-Vietnamese? It's because we are lurking in the shadows and we are plotting. And one day we'll have our time in the sun. And it'll be glorious and warm. Speaking of that, on that note, music, maybe you want to check out my music. Maybe that's something you'd like to do. And the easiest way to do that would be to log into your mother's iTunes account and scroll down until you see my name. And then choose one of them and push play and make a choice. Take it or leave it. And that's not some crass joke directed towards your mother. Because I am an adult and I'm a gentleman and I don't make jokes like that anymore. Used to. Seemingly on an hourly basis, but I don't do that anymore. No, it is just a mysterious fact of life that women who have undergone the glorious miracle of childbirth seem to gravitate, in particular, to my music. And I don't know why. I don't know why she likes it. But I will ask her tonight while we're making sweet love to it. So here's what's going on. This is what's going on right now. I have an album, and it is available today. It is available today at taylorjohnwilliams.com, and only at taylorjohnwilliams.com. And it's called Angeline, and it's a short album. It is a short album known as an EP. Or to my Colombian audience, an EP. And similarly to my San Fernando Valley audience, an EP. And it's available now. And it was inspired by a woman called Angeline. The record as a whole has really nothing to do with her, but it was inspired by a girl named Angeline. And she was a girl who worked at a bar that I would go to fairly frequently. And she was a hostess there. And that place has since been torn to shreds by the sharp claws of COVID, sadly. So she no longer works there along with everybody else who worked there, because that's how that works. You know this. I don't have to explain that. And I never really learned anything about her. The only thing I knew about her is that she had a smile like Christmas morning, and a derriere that made me believe in Santa Claus again. And one night I was doing some work there, and I'd had a few drinks, and I thought, tonight's the night. I'm going to ask her out. And I'm kind of a coward when it comes to these things. In general, in the general scope of life, I don't consider myself a coward. But when it comes to courting women, I got two left feet in my brain, and I just don't. Anyways, this night I said, I'm doing it. So I had a drink, right? And then I had one more drink. And then I had a nightcap. And then I had one final nightcap. And then I felt ready. I felt sharp, even though I'm sure I looked blurry. And I went into the bathroom and I checked my look in the mirror, and I said, whatever, it's fine. And I channeled my inner Gael Garcia Bernal, and I put on some "Staying Alive" in my head, and just the first line, you can tell by the way I do my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. And I just played that same line on repeat in my head, like a skipping broken record. I strutted up to the hostess booth, and I gave her my number, and I said something cheeky that I don't remember, that I'm sure I thought was clever, and I'm sure she damaged her pretty white teeth from the acidity in the vomit that came up through her throat into her mouth. As I left, and I left, and I never heard from her. And that's really that's the end of the Angeline tale. The thing that inspired the writing of the record was the voice that entered my head on the walk home, when the voice said, "Hey man, best case scenario, she's gonna call you, I guess, but then you're gonna have to show her where you live." And at the time, I was living in I'll describe this place for you. It was maybe 150 square feet, maybe. No kitchen, just a hot plate with one broken burner. Not the apartment's fault, but still, it adds to the misery. The toilet seat was situated so that the front edge of the toilet seat was about 4 inches away from the wall in front of it, so you had to do all your business sitting sideways. And for me, that meant all of my business sitting sideways, because I like to pee sitting down. And you didn't ask for that information, but in all fairness, you didn't ask for this podcast, so it is what it is. But yeah, it's cleaner to me that way, and I struggle with dirty bathrooms. It's repulsive to me, especially if you have any kind of natural light that comes in your bathroom, like a pee stain mixed with natural sunlight. Not for me. Like, the most disturbing part about the movie Saw to me is that bathroom that they're trapped in for the whole movie. Like, Cary Elwes is all shy about cutting his foot off to escape that bathroom. And I would have willingly cut my own head off to remove my consciousness from that putrid bathroom. What else? I had to sleep on an air mattress because I got bed bugs like 3 months into living there, which was a super great time in my life. And I had to throw my bed out. And so I said, I'm not going to buy another bed and potentially have this happen again. So I went to Target and I bought a $75 air mattress, and that's what I slept on for far too long. And the entire building was roach infested. And I'll never forget one time I went to pour myself a glass of water from my Brita pitcher, and a roach sack, like egg sack, fell into my glass of water and dispersed a bunch of little newborn roaches who drowned to death in my glass of water. And I set the glass down, and unfortunately it didn't really startle me. It was like, oh, right. And I set the glass down, and I sat on my air mattress, and I started laughing hysterically. I'll never forget this moment, because it was so ridiculous to me that I couldn't stop laughing. And what else? There were a couple girls that were abducted by MS-13 for ransom. Could have been totally full of shit, and maybe were trying to extort money. But the cops were involved. There were detectives involved, so it was it very likely could have been real. Anyways, I could go on for an eternity, but this was a sad place that I didn't like to be in, and I didn't want anybody else to be in or know that I lived in. So having this moment of like, this is a lose-lose situation. She either doesn't call because she thinks I'm an idiot, or she does call and I potentially have to show her this place. So that inspired a bit of an emotional spiral. And the thing about emotional spirals, if you're somebody who makes music for a living, they can be very useful. And that in itself is kind of a tragedy, because it begs the question, do I perhaps subconsciously seek out these emotional spirals? I hope not, because that's no way to live. Anyways, I basically shut myself in after having that kind of realization, and didn't talk to girls very much, and felt just hopelessly undateable. And so I channeled that feeling into a record, and I finished writing it right around when COVID started, and then I moved out of that place and moved in with my producer for a few months, and with him and his family, and we recorded this record, and it was great. And we made music, and we played video games, and I stood in line at Trader Joe's with his beautiful wife, and we grocery shopped together, and I climbed trees with his adorable, sassy daughter, who's a very good tree climber, and I beat the living shit out of his dog because that's what she's into. And we coexisted, and we made this music, and I'm really proud of it, and I know he's proud of it too, Mr. Thomas Green. And I hope that you'll give it a listen, give it a whirl. It's kind of a weird record. It covers a lot of different terrain, in the short 6 songs, I think. And again, you can find that at taylorjohnwilliams.com and only there for the time being. I'm also going to be performing this album live via live stream. I'm going to do an acoustic rendition of the entire album. I'm going to be playing piano, even though I don't know how, and some acoustic guitar. And it's going to be broadcasted through stageit.com. That's S-T-A-G, right? STAGEIT.com. And if you want to check out the show, I'll put a link in the description of the YouTube video for this episode. And you can go create a profile at stageit.com. It's really quick and easy. And then if you want to email me your username to info.taylorjohnwilliams@gmail.com, then I will have tickets sent to you if you would like. So you can check out the show. I think that's all that I have to say. I think that's where I'm going to leave it. As always, I really, really appreciate you being here and listening. And be well. Take care of yourself. Reach out to your friends. Tell them that you love them. All right. Goodbye.